One transformative moment during the teacher training was during the second practicum. So for the second practicum, we had to do, I think it was a 15-minute sequence. And I felt like I had prepared a lot for it. And then when I stood up, I just didn't really know what was going on. I was really in my head. There's a lot going on in my personal life that weekend. So it felt really difficult for me to show up in the room and remember the sequence and see everybody moving in front of me and be with the people in front of me. And the feedback from Allison, like live while I was doing the practicum, she just kept interrupting me and is like, just be with the people, be with the people. Can you take a step back? Can you let things go? Just be with them. And I was having a really hard time because I didn't want to be seen in the room. I didn't want them to see me. I was just really struggling that weekend and I didn't want people to know that. And it felt really transformative because once the practicum ended and Allison gave the feedback, she said, when was the last time in your life you felt that bottomless? And it just kind of hit me that all of the changes I've been going through was really similar to another period in my life where I also went through a lot of changes and I didn't see a way out or a way through. And I just thought it was incredible that Allison saw that and acknowledged it, because that allowed me to turn into myself and acknowledge it and not ignore what was happening. And it also opened up a moment of connection for me, because after that practicum and after the day was done, one of the other student trainees came up to me and asked me about the previous time in my life where everything was really hard and what was going on really now with me. And I hadn't really talked to anybody about it. Was someone who was actively really interested in learning more about what I was going through. And that just felt really transformative that Allison saw it, I recognized it in myself, and then someone was able to take a step back and ask me about where I was at and be open and curious without any judgment. And it just helped me move through what I was going through that day. Well, completing the 200-hour teacher training and how it's impacted my life on and off the mat, I would say in almost every single way that I can think about. If we think about the yoga in terms of just a physical practice, like moving through the postures and the poses, definitely that has changed significantly. I understand a lot more about the anatomy, how the body's supposed to move, what feels optimal for me, where my mobility is, where to find the stability to get into the different poses, and how to have a sense of flow with my breath. And also just continue to iterate and refine on the practice and be in the moment and be with what's showing up for me. And I would say off the mat, it's just, I've realized things don't have to be so difficult. I don't have to be so hard on myself. And when I start moving into that space, because you never fully arrive to a place where it's like, oh, I'm no longer hard on myself. I have self-compassion. Like, it's continuous work, it's a continuous practice. And I think knowing that off the mat is where the work is. And it's just implementing that in my everyday, like becoming aware, this is what's happening in this moment. What are the small actions that I can take to continue to be aware of what's happening and just let things be? And that opens up a lot more than resisting myself, taking on more than what I can chew at that given time, or just being stressed and anxious and not actually living and showing up for myself for what I need in that moment. So I would say in a really big way, that's been probably the most significant thing that has happened through the teacher training, is just the awareness and the ability to listen to myself. And when I realize I'm not being aware and not listening to myself, just bringing that back and starting again, and always giving me that simple action of, I can just begin again. I can just check in with myself. And it's so simple. I don't need like a smartwatch to tell me that I closed my exercise ring for the day. I don't need a phone to tell me some notification. I don't need somebody to externally validate that what I'm doing is good. It's just, I already have enough. I have the tools to check in with me. It's really hard to find a favorite part because I thought the whole thing was really fun. And when it wasn't fun, when it was emotional, it was emotional. And just moving through that was really great. I would say maybe not my favorite part, but it's just the people and the connections that I made. Allison started the training by saying that the people in the cohort will be lifelong connections. And I've done so many different trainings, like in the corporate world or just summer camps, and they're like, oh, you'll form your lifelong bonds and connections there. And that was never really the case. It felt really superficial. It felt really forced. So going in the training, when I heard Allison say that, I was like, yeah, that's what everybody starts off saying when you put a group of people together. But I would genuinely say through this training, because each of us took on our own self-work and we did that together and we learned and grew together and we were together for 200 hours, that I felt like I really got the chance to really deeply get to know in each and every one of the trainees and see where they were at with themselves and see where they were at with the training. And everyone was just really vulnerable in a way in each moment that felt very connecting. And I'm really excited knowing that these people are my support network moving forward. And now that the training has ended, that support hasn't ended. I'm still reaching out to a lot of the trainees. They're still checking in on me. We're still meeting up. We're still having conversations. I still see them in the studio. So I would say, I guess, yeah, the favorite part is having these connections and knowing that I was able to make these connections in the training, but I can take that same approach outside of the training, just in the studio or in my life, and connect with people on that level and know that they'll be there for me and I'll be there for them. One surprising thing I learned about myself was that I could just be myself, that I don't have to act out of what narratives I put on myself, like I'm not good enough, so therefore I have to do X, Y, or Z, or if I just get this certificate at work, then I'll be good enough, I'll get the salary raise, I'll get this, I'll get that. That constant what's next, what's next, what's next. I was able to put that down, and that's been really freeing, and I never thought in a million years I could get out of that mindset in my life. And I go back into it like all the time, probably multiple times a day, but to actually have the reference point in my experience that it doesn't have to be this way, that I can set these things down, has opened up so much for me in terms of my freedom, in terms of just living in the moment, in terms of being able to connect with people when they're right there in front of me. I'm actually able to engage with them and listen to what they're saying about their lives and what's important to them. And I'm not just in my head running through my to-do list. I think before the training, that happened a lot. I would go up and I would talk to someone, and immediately once I asked the question, my mind, its attention, it would just shift somewhere else. It's like, okay, once I'm done with this conversation, the yoga practice will start. And then after the yoga practice, I have to go and respond to an email to this person. And then after that email, I need to make sure that I feed myself, because if I don't feed myself, I won't have enough energy to do rock climbing. And my mind's just like rapid firing through all of these things, and I completely missed out on this person talking about their daughter or their dog or things that are really important to them, and they're wanting to spend their time to share that with me, and I wasn't present. So just giving me the skills to be able to tune back in and be with what's now. Keep it simple, just do it, take the action.